and complexity pushed them to a 2-2 and managed to have a highly contested game number 5.
Yep.
I think this is why Digital Chaos are here right now. They've got that indomitable spirit because they have something special that doesn't let them say die, even when the game is in game 5 and it's going to the bitter end. They don't say die.
All right, very quickly, Ted, you're going to stick with Wings.
My heart genuinely says DC. I will be cheering for them because of what they've achieved, but it's got to be Wings.
All right, okay. Charlie, very quickly.
I just feel like some crazy shit's gonna happen and DC is gonna win. It's just my gut right now.
Okay, all right. It's time to get into the draft for game 1 of the grand finals.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We are here in Key Arena and we are ready for our grand finals. Wings versus Digital Chaos. Your grand final drafting panel will be Winter, Black, and Draskell. Gentlemen, where the hell do we begin? Winner, how do you figure out a team like Wings, and how do you stop a team like Digital Chaos on their path?
You can't figure out a team like Wings. You just need to go with your heart. Get the feeling.
Go full Charlie. That's what you want, right? I mean, I think that the Wings opening, they banned the other Titan themselves. They had first pick. They took the Wisp. I think this opening just shows that they're not scared, Winter and I were talking earlier. He said that maybe the earliest part of the game is Wings' biggest weakness, but as soon as mid-game rolls around, they're just hyper-aggressive. They know exactly what they need to do. And DC's response with the Timber Saw, I mean, it's a comfort zone pick for them, but both teams looking to come strong out of the game.
Oh, that is his best hero, I think, for Mu.
Yeah.
Like, in this matchup, you don't know what your opponent is doing. You want to pick your heroes that your players are most comfortable with. That's very, very important for DC.
Oh, it's the greatest hero in the game. DC, game 1.
Like on top of the Timber Saw just being a comfort zone pick, usually you pair the IO up with like a CK, like a Tiny, like another Strength 4, and it's like really, really hard for them to like play against the Timber Saw because he has so much burst damage against them. And obviously, Cuddle, one of DC's stable picks.
It's also, I feel, a bit of a denial here on the side of Wings. I mean, maybe they don't pick it now, but going into the second phase, it's possible that it could have been banned. Obviously, very good against the Timber Saw.
Second pick. This is something I was saying that EG maybe could have considered, was securing that Sumail pick in the first phase. Wings say, we have the gut, we'll do it in game number 1.
I mean, like, they already have a Cuddle, which is pretty good against the Storm, and now they have 3 more heroes to counter that.
It's like both ways, Like, Storm is good against Cuddle.
Of course,
you jump him, you kill him, and it's an Orchid hero, so it's very good versus Timber as well.
Yeah, whoever gets like the initiation on is probably gonna like go out and get like ahead in the fight.
And in the laning phase, it's really nice to have an IO when you're playing Storm. Obviously, its mana cost got increased quite a bit with the Remnant, so being able to abuse bottom and whatnot with the IO is very useful.
Yeah, for Wings right now, initiation, like you said, it's going to be key. So DC in the second phase takes out the Bear Rider, one of the heroes that are very good at dealing with the Cotter as well.
I mean, we spoke about it before. Storm's like weakness is the laning phase. If he survives the laning phase unscathed, then he's like.
I mean, that's why you have the IO for that.
Yeah, exactly. But DC need to make sure that like they destroy the lanes. You do not want to have a Storm free farming against those 2 heroes already. Like he will just cause havoc and he will just like destroy the game for them.
Yeah, you want to have Disable as well on top of those 2 heroes. Those 2 heroes has a lot of damage, but you need heroes to disable them.
I mean, what is DC looking for here? Like they could go middle Invoker still, which is pretty good.
I wouldn't mind like seeing an Invoker. I wouldn't even mind seeing like we're talking about cores.
Even Lion would be good.
Well.
Lion would be very good.
Lion Cuddle is pretty good together too. I mean, DC is a team that picked Anti-Mage a lot in the past too, perfect against those 2 heroes as well. Really good with Cuddle, you get like a double blink, you get the recall split push. There's so many things that you can do. And like picking the Storm that early, we spoke about it, why it's so vulnerable. You have so many heroes that actually hard counter it. Like Brave, like Wings is really, really brave.
I feel like for DC, it sounds like a bad pairing of supports on paper, but when you look at Wisp and Storm Spirit, Disruptor seems to scream out to me. Is that just a bit too far-fetched with the commitment to the Coddle?
I think it makes their lanes very weak, I feel. I mean, sure, you can have the Coddle in the safe lane spamming Blast One, and it's fine, but I think that Wings would be able to punish that already, because they've only shown really what their middle lane is going to be, and I think that IO pairing with the Storm is still fine for them.
I mean, we've also seen Storm safe lane a couple of times. It's not like as good, not as popular, but definitely possible though, and definitely Wings can run it. Like if any team,
if anybody would, yeah, it would definitely be Wings.
Yeah, so Like, you will never know what Wings does until you see the last pick.
I mean, Night Stalker could also be good for either team. Like Vision game, like Night Stalker is good on the Storm's team. You want to see the enemy.
But DC less likely, right? I think
Yeah.
it's probably
Probably more on Wings. Yeah.
You never want to pick a Night Stalker when you have a Cuddle. It's like completely counteractive each other.
really good ban here from DC taking out the Nyx. Obviously, it's very hard for them to run it themselves. It counters Timbersaw and Coddle to a certain degree.
Oh yeah.
So it just destroys both of them. Very good. Very
I mean, I'm sure Wings is also happy that Hero's not a pool.
yeah, but they kind of had to ban it, right? Because I think Wings would actually have been able to pick it, whereas DC can't.
Yeah, and, with DC could, but We really doesn't like playing Timbersaw at all. It's always Moose Hero pretty much. You know when they pick Timber, it's gonna be Moose playing it. When it's safe lane or off lane though, DC really likes going aggressive tri lane. So you never know whether they actually want to play it safe or off lane. You'll have to take that into account as the draft goes on. They definitely wouldn't have picked Nyx.
You don't think support Nyx would be possible if they wanted it?
I mean, Nyx Coddle is kind of like weak. You don't really have like roaming. You have like no aggressive potential at all. I feel.
Like some games I saw, like yeah, especially the EG game where they ran Zai on the Nyx, he was pretty successful when he was roaming. I mean, it's not reliable, but it could be done.
I mean, it definitely can be done. It's just I feel the laning is gonna be a bit weaker, and we spoke about how you kind of need to dismantle Wings during the laning phase because once they get together as 5, the team play is just like amazing, and it's really hard to tear them apart.
And then you're going all in on a mid-game timing, which I think Wings are more than comfortable with. So I feel it would be very difficult.
Banning out the Naga Siren, obviously both run as core and a support. Very strong hero in DC's repertoire. I'm still really curious what they're looking for.
You need some disable now, right? For the Storm. You need
They do need
to lock him down.
Either disables or like hard bursts that they can like, ruin the laning phase.
Yeah, Lion seems to be a really good candidate for that. I know I mentioned it before. Like it's one of Misery's like very comfort heroes as well. He loves playing that hero.
And there's Bane. Bane can like dual lane middle pretty comfortably. Like 1+ Bane is really good against Storm plus IO.
Man, Bane, what happened to him?
Man, he's gone, man.
He's long gone.
He's not scary anymore.
There's too many ogres and elder titans walking around, I think, for Bane.
But like as DC, you could probably still pick Ogre, but you don't really want to. Because it's not like a reliable.
Are you sure you don't really want to Black?
I mean, now they have like a pretty slow target stun, right? Like,
yeah, but still, you need to win the early game. Like against Wings, you don't want to just let them play their early game and just snowball you in the mid game.
Everybody clapping along with the Ogre right there. He's feeling it. This second phase is so precious. They're just beginning to dump right into that reserve time.
No, if you're DC, you definitely need to pick counter cores though to Storm. You don't want to let that guy have a good game, like at all.
I think they're just waiting a little bit later for stuff like the anti-mage that you were talking about, Black, just to make sure they know what the laning phase is going to look like and if there's going to be time for him to be able to get online.
I mean, they could still go aggressive try right? Like Ogre, Coddle +1, very strong.
Slard Armor down.
Yeah, initiation, and they're on dire side. A very, very good pick for their lineup.
Yeah. Secures Roshan very easily as well.
And it addresses one of Storm's weaknesses too, which is like really poor physical damage. With the Slaughter, obviously every core deals a lot of physical damage.
Faceless Void.
And they can run it both as safe and offlane. That goes so hard disable against Storm, as well as IO. It's like it's super good against both heroes. Really good against Slaughter too. He wants to jump in. Your time dilation is going to be useless for a long time.
Whoa. Quick to the silencer is Wings, which is that instant combo breaker to someone like a Faceless Void.
The other thing you can do is you can global on the relocate. So instead of it like going in and potentially having some counterplay, you can just get the kill and get out.
Look at that initiation from Wings. The Storm, the relocate, the Slaughter. I mean, DC has to be grouping up together pretty early this game. They don't want to be split up against Slaughter and Storm and the Silencer.
Yeah, like they can jump anyone, just global silence, and then get out. Like the heroes are really mobile, really fast. The only hero that's not mobile so far is Silencer, but he will be on the back lines waiting to cast global silence.
I mean, you can see that base, come on. You just need to get ultimate.
Yeah, that's literally what you do as a hero. You farm your Midas and whatever, then you stay at base and press silence.
Refresher.
Yeah, and maybe Aghanim's not as good anymore, but you never know with Wings.
Well, they'll need to get like Lotus or Greaves, BKB. Like they're gonna need a lot of all those items on DC this game.
I really like the Nyx ban, even though Nyx is not that good against Timber and Void.
The Storm.
The Storm as well as the Silencer. Like if they jump anyone, they're just gonna die because they can't do anything. They can't help anyone, and they'll just die.
Yeah, it's like Nyx plus Slaughter. We've seen this combo before, like maybe 2 months ago. But it was really popular.
Wings
You don't have time to
turn
react
to
to that.
pick.
You just die instantly.
This drumming is pretty hype, man.
There's actually also one more thing about the Silencer too, is in lane, if they're assuming that it's going to be Mood Timber, Silencer is actually extremely good
Yeah.
against the Timber. You just get wrecked in that.
But you want to skip Glaive or one just Harris model the lane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
10
last word, obviously
seconds
really good against him.
All his abilities are just gonna ruin Timber in the game. From the laning phase to the mid game to the late game.
You know, as soon as
Oh, shit!
DC's
Game
turn to
number
pick.
1 from Wing says we're gonna go for the punt.
They love doing this against Void. They
Yeah,
always do it for the save.
This is the chrono counter.
Yeah.
You chrono my teammates, I'm gonna hold my teammates out.
and it's gonna be a core silencer too. Off lane, Slaughter, core silencer,
10
storm mid.
seconds
Yeah, because
remaining.
Punch is definitely support. Eyesight plays the hero.
You do not want to have a carry punch against the
5
Timber.
seconds remaining.
No way.
They have so much protection for the core Silencer in this game as well with their heroes. Like Punch Hook for save, Slardar can go in, Storm can go in, you relocates. They can protect this hero so well, and it destroys DC's
And they
lineup.
have so many setups too. If Punch ever gets to blink, he jumps
10
in, dismembers,
seconds
just global silence, and probably will burst
ready.
anyone. And then, I mean, Skyrock is obviously like very good with
Wait,
exploits.
something is wrong.
Core Ogre, Core Skywrath.
Core Skywrath, it looks
Something's
Skywrath.
happening here. This
Yeah,
is
we
crazy.
Skywrath for sure.
We Skywrath.
Man, I can't believe what we are seeing here in the first game, Wings versus DC. We have a call Skyrock, we have Pudge.
I can't
Core
believe it.
silencer.
But I can also believe it at the same time, gentlemen. This is going to be a hype grand final, I can already tell. It's game number 1. Let's throw it over. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your grand final casters. It's Toby One and Merlini.
Greetings, everybody! This is the greatest game in the Dota 2 year, the International Grand Final. I'm Toby One here with Merlini. Not only have we got 2 amazing teams, we've also got one kick-ass draft to kick us
10
off.
seconds
Yeah, they're not
remaining.
afraid to go outside the box. Pudge, core Skywrath, we haven't seen any of this
seconds
throughout the main
remaining.
stage.
All of it got thrown to the wayside, but we're expecting random. Like everyone's been describing Wings as this all-random team. You never know how to play against them because you never know what they're going to pick. But Digital Chaos, also one of these teams, heavily respected for their drafting throughout the tournament.
Prepare
Let's hop in
for
the game,
battle.
see what's going on there.
That's right. This is the place where we ask the questions. How does it all unfold? The Weeha on the Skywrath, the Moo moving to the Timbersaw. It is going to be classics in some ways, but also the curveballs in the other. You saw that grin on Misery. He seems to be very, very confident coming into this tournament.
I know they have to be riding that high after taking down EG, and I haven't seen a core Sky in ages. I've seen him play it on stream a couple times though. He really likes that hero. I think it's one of his favorite heroes.
Is this when you actually go to what something like EG, like PPD said about the old TI5 final? You pick up heroes which are just the comfort zones, where you know you're gonna have a really good game because it's just your style of hero. I guess we believes this is it. He had other
30
options. He had a
seconds to
lot of
battle.
options.
I also think you need to take Wings out of their comfort zone. They always seem to be able to know exactly what you're gonna do, what lanes you're gonna throw at them. And
Weeha won't stop it. He is clucking like a hen at the moment as that Skywrath mage. The battle will begin in 15 seconds when the runes will spawn. Digital Chaos, they're grouping up heavily to contest this top rune, but so are Wings.
it looks like they're actually going to try and aggro over here.
Wait for it, wait for it. Here
The
they
battle
come. They're coming
begins.
down into the river. Who's going to get that first rune? It does go, both go the way of Wings. Weeha taking a lot of damage early on, but the Illuminate, it hits on 4. Blink is so low. DC's almost got first 4. Resolution, time looking into the first one, but it's Weeha on the Skywrath throwing the orb from range. That will bring down Blink.
Man, this early Observer Ward set up by DC too. They had vision of all those heroes, and Wings, they did not see that Illuminate coming. The Wisp came in, got chucked by that Illuminate. Early first blood goes the way of Wee.
And again, we see DC turn to this Misery Ogre mid lane zoner, trying to keep the Storm Spirit out, while Weeha taunts the Storm Spirit back to his tier 1 tower. But the top lane's going to be a bit of a rough run here for Resolution, as Ice, he has leveled up Rot level 1, he'll have Innocence to back him up, but they're trying to create a little bit of space here for Shadow. Resolution is not alone. Tuxa is up here to help him as that Keeper of the Light.
Early salve already coming out on the Skywrath Mage, but he's doing very well in terms of CS, limiting the Storm to 0 and 0 with the aid of Misery.
And Misery is just making life an absolute living hell. A Storm Spirit with no progression. That's got to be a dangerous thing. How can Wings change this up? How do you change the balance of these lanes? You do have one of the best rotating surprises of the game, and that's in the Pudge of Wings. but you can't need level 2 on him until he's got a hook.
It's also the Wisp. The Wisp comes in when you overcommit to a lane. But they have really good vision inside.
Well, now that Io's arrived in mid, Misery has rotated to the top lane. Ice is still not level 2 yet, but okay, with the Observer Ward behind the tower from Zuxa, he's able to see Ice moving around. So now the Pudge rotations, the second he leaves that top lane, DC's going to know about it.
And that Sentry Ward is a little bit out of range. Wings have a lot of trouble in this early game. They want to get stacks up with a Wisp, especially when you have a Storm Spirit. They need some levels on the Pudge so he can actually hook this Keeper of the Light.
Well, that's why Misery's moved over. Shadow going to cut through the tree line. Ice needs to get in range to make that rot work, but that's also an Ogre, an insanely tanky style hero. Not even the core is able to zone this out in this one position. Silencer not really having any love, even with that pull. Same time, DC do the same and keep the equilibrium their way.
Even if the early game's going poorly for Wings, they can still make it up in the team fight. It's going to be a long time until they can build Greaves, Lotuses, PKBs, the counters to Global Silence. So come 15-20 minutes, I think Wings can start flexing their lineup.
Oh, bottom lane Faith dropping very, very low. We haven't even really had a close talk about this bottom lane, the Slaughter versus the Timber. Right now, things seem to be pretty even on the CS board, but how is this lane meant to progress?
We actually see Timbersaw not going for a Quelling Blade here. This is why Slardar is able to actually overcome him in CS. It's very low on regen on the Slardar, but you expect it to go slightly Timbersaw favored.
Well, if Moo can have that, he's going to have a really great transition into that mid game. Maybe be online by the time Wings are ready to fight.
One of the best runes for a Skywrath Mage, Regeneration. That's definitely gonna win the lane for him.
Yeah, that's just gonna spam out the Storm Spirit, and he needs a second option. At least Storm, I don't know if he really wants to start farming up inside of his own jungle. There's actually a couple of stacks prepared, so maybe that's his catch-up, use the Remnants.
Yeah, they also need to get levels on the Wisp. Wisp might need to help him out with like a bottle refill to deal with this constant spam from Skywrath Mage.
Well, the lanes have settled down after that first blood in the river. We've had 3.5 minutes of peace. But on bottom lane, the first big rotation is actually going to be, well, I say big, it's Innocence coming down to help to gank up Moo. He's got 1 point up in Simultaneous, so he's got a way to get away from this, but then the movement speed, Crush off cooldown in 2 seconds time. No support coming in from DC, the Crush will connect, but Moo, 10 reactive armor charges. He's so tanky, the body block has got enough. Where's your back there? Almost, the chain away, they're under the tower. There's no mana on Moo, but Faith, he might be in a little bit too deep here. He needs a way out. Crush is available. Where's that tether? It's off cooldown, but the Crush is going to miss. In comes your tether. Moo's looking for an opening. Remember, he's got no mana, no mango, and that means he can't find the kill. Faith dives deep, but does not kill the Moo.
I really like how Moo baited out that Crush there, just ran right outside of the range of Wings trying to make something happen in the other lane, and no TPs even from the supports, so they're comfortable in Moo being sacrificed down there.
I'm wondering if he asks for anything, and DC's just like, I'm sorry, man. We got to hold this top tower. You survived that gank, and DC gets so much more. The top 3 CSs on the board. The lanes are looking fantastic for DC to start with. They have a small advantage. Just now they might find a bigger one. Ice caught out. Rot denial, not possible. Misery gets the last club in.
One bright side for Wings there is that they did drop 2 Sentry Wards on the top lane at the same time. A little bit of miscommunication from them, and they won't be able to get that D-Ward on that Ops.
So Wings, is this repair zone now for them, or are they still comfortable with progression in the first 5 minutes?
You don't want to lose the lanes this badly. Look at Sky's CS compared to the Storms. 29 versus 11. They were neck and neck at one point.
This looks to be the reason why they're rotating up. So Faith Beyond as well as Innocence. Looking towards Weeha. Weeha has been very cocky in this mid lane, going over the river, and this is that kind of moment they were waiting for. Faith runs in, they'll get an easy crush, Innocence to help out with the Wisp Spirits, blink the Storm Spirit! The Mystic Fire! Weeha! He burnt the Retina out of Blink! And now it's a 1-1 trade-off, but that was a heavy rotation for Wings, the time committed for that. And it's still a 1-1, the mid for mid.
And the Ogre staying there in the middle lane, really taking its toll on the Storm Spirit. He's not even close to level 6 at this point. Would really like that before they make that rotation. At least they finally get a kill.
Innocence is back on the stacks. And you're already seeing the TP coming over, and Blink, yeah, he doesn't want to go anywhere near that mid lane for now. They have to clean up these stacks inside the Dire jungle in a bit.
But as we say that, DC is already moving into that area, though it will be under the eyes of the Observer.
Ice is pinging out. He feels like he's got an opening here, While Resolution was farming the camp, the Dire Observer Ward still sees quite nicely. Rain and Sentry is too far away. Now Ice moves over. Oh, what's the hook? Actually threads the DC needle, and they have to turn with a rod. Ice stunned up. He'll deny himself with the rod. Saxa, he's away. Back behind the T1 tower. Still a couple of stick charges up his sleeve. Resolution also with Time Walk and stick charges. They'll back up as far as they can. But Resolution, the ball flap into the tree line, and the glaive is not enough damage. But it is! The last word was had by Wings. Misery's coming up for some deep revenge. He needs to find him in the tree lines. Shadow starts his TP out. Innocence does not have the man to do so. Misery gonna loop around the tree line, try and lock him in, but then to tether away the creep wave, avoiding the Luminate as well. He gets out at the same time. Weehaw went for a crazy dive behind the tier 1 tower and lost his life.
Wow, that outplay the Wisps too. They're having a lot of trouble keeping track of him. He doesn't even have boots at the moment, opting for the raindrops instead. Might have even lived from that short charge Illuminate. And now TP on the top, auto refill on IO. They're doing well in this early game now. Yeah. Off the back of the rotation of the Wisp, they really need some more hooks from Ice. However,
You know, it's that same thing we saw from the Wings punches previously. Never really felt his big influence inside the game. He normally was just that fear which allowed his other supports to have space, but this silencer, he can't really make the most out of that.
yeah, DC have to make sure not to overstay their welcome in the safe lane, in Wings' safe lane that is. A lot of times you see the 3 heroes just stay there way too long. They get cleaned up by heavy rotation from the mid laner. But Storm, not have a good time. He's also not gotten any kill runes. Last 2 runes, haste, double damage, going to their way to Skywrath Mage. 8-minute rune will be a bounty for Storm.
So again, no joy on the rune. There is a lot of joy to be had in that bottom lane. DC, Moo is just having a great time as he comes in close over on the slider. 2 points up in Timber Chain is available, but he's not going to play that game as on top lane. Oh, Keeper of the Light gets caught out. Finally one of those hooks.
Yeah, it's about to be that time where they need to maybe ditch this or reinforce it with the help of the Moo Timber. Sora forced to help out the other lanes, and that's why you see the Timber out of control on CS.
Well, they had to find a way to completely shut him down at some point, or else Moo's going to do what Moo's done before. Huge win rate on that Timbersaw.
Man, that 8-minute rune was there for quite a long time. Haste for Sky.
Nice thing for Weehaw if he wants to get aggressive. Also, nice way to chase the Storm Spirit, who's only got maybe 1/4 of his mana to steal. Weehaw gonna miss Mystic Flare. So some decent damage to the Storm Spirit. Wow, okay, doing more than decent. It was amplified by the steal to start with.
Under attack.
But Blink, this is just not his game.
Yeah, they got rid of a lot of the raindrop charges. Moo going in deep on bottom.
Yeah, Faith so low, but confident enough to stand next to his own tier 2 tower. Doesn't want to back up completely. Wants to make Moo a little bit more fearful of being between a tier 1 and tier 2 tower before even the 10-minute marker. Because he's doing this with a creep skip, it guarantees the early tier 1.
Dire's structures are
And the help comes in from Coddle.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
As we say that, Blink and IO.
Well, can they jump this? Moo still with the application. Faith comes in. There's your first jump across the start with no more tech for the damage. It may be enough for the back, but then the Timbersaw chains up the sharp drop damage. It's always going to kill Liz if he's not careful. But they find the kill before he pulls it in.
Saxa just ditched him right there. I think with an Illuminate, he could have been able to get a triple kill right there.
Tower is
But
under attack.
Moo, that's a right. Try to do what he could.
He almost managed to keep himself, as he said, a triple kill. He just needed more time. But it wasn't available. Resolution, walking right next to Shadow in the tree lines. He doesn't know. He came so close he could probably smell him. Unless he goes around the corner of that tree, he still doesn't know. Shadow, cloak and dagger stuff. But he'll need help if they want to defend this. Innocent still doesn't have level 6, so there's no help coming there, and there it is. They just back out. Get TP of the Shadow back to base.
All that time wasted actually could have been done to the damage done to the tower. It's at 300 HP and need a little bit of help from Faceless Void. Also Shadow going for a little bit of a different build. Arcane Curse would have been potentially pretty good versus spammy heroes like the Faceless Void, the Sky, and the Timber, but opting to prioritize the last word so that Timber can't run away, Faceless Void can't cast Chrono, and just overall a little bit better synergy for their team fight.
Little extra control also arriving for Wings as Dismember arrives, the first tome being used on the Pudge. really trying to make up for those levels he couldn't achieve on the top because he just had to hug the silencer so close.
But DC have had so much control over Wings' jungle with another deep observer ward as they finish the T1 on top. Wisp just closing in on level 6 should get it after this camp. And starting to eye where those relocate ganks will happen as Ice perches in the bottom lane.
Yeah, he's waiting to prepare on move. With the amplification, he knows he's going to get the hit, the chain up. Ice still waits his time out.
Hooking up the stuff.
Creeping away. Oh no.
And not enough mana for a hook dismember, especially with the level 3 chain on the Timbersaw.
Dire's middle tower is under
But
attack.
Y and Blink are ready, waiting for the opportunity. It could be on top if he uses a defensive global silence.
That's where DC is headed at the moment with a 3-man smoke maneuver. As we'll have ourselves, just a quick pause. Nice start as far as DC feel like it was a good start for them. Overall, it's been moving between 1,500 net worth going the way of DC. But Wings, they've repaired a 2k deficit in experience, dragging it back their way after what was a bit of a harsh start in the first part of the laning. Can't believe that guy got
Who'd you vote for, Toby?
Fire! Who else? He's the man. Well, we can go again as the pause is over. And Shadow has to be prepared for this. The Chronosphere out with a Mystic Flare. It's the old school combo and the Illuminate. The damage is not enough for the one-timer. He will still die. We hired an extra arcane orb up his sleeve.
Oh, Skyrat's actually so fast with the Bloodlust. He's moving like 412 move speed. Bloodlust just ran off him, but he's very farm closing in on the Atos, and one of your main concerns about running a core Sky is that he's going to fall off similar to perhaps the core Jakira that they ran earlier. But when he's this far ahead of the Storm Spirit, looks to be a pretty good game for him, but it's a slippery slope.
It is, but Wings still finding space while that gank was going on, so Silence is not the happiest time of all. Still gonna be happy that's his first death in 12.5 minutes.
Do you believe in the taunt curse, Toby?
I believe in the cockiness curse, yeah. Don't go too deep. I think Weeha already got that a little bit when he died behind the tier 1 tower.
Needs to do the 30 bird a few more times.
Top lane, Moo's gonna come over. Resolution waiting in the trees. No Chronosphere available for DC.
They're just saving it out at the moment, just waiting.
I'm surprised Fade comes to... Okay, that's the reason, yeah. He's already got that early Blink Dagger. With Tranquils, it's a little bit raw. No early stat items over on Faithian.
And that Observer Ward will not catch wind of the Slardar nor the Io. So they are still blind. Although, you know, Silencer farming out alone with threat of relocate.
The thing actually came out. They think there's something going up here. DC's rotating support, but it might be too late. Misery taking heavy damage. The multicast not enough to save his life. And now Resolution has to time walk back to the tier 1 tower.
Wings did such a good job of evading vision of that Observer Ward, but without Chronosphere up, not sure if DC can fight here. They're
forcing it up. Leap in, time dilation, global silence comes out from Shadow, making this very difficult. Faith beyond, blink forward, stuns over on Resolution with the timber chain over. They need more damage. Resolution's gonna go down. The Illuminate nearly nicks the back of Faith, but with the timber chain forward, Moose bringing the damage, but it's still not enough. Faith beyond into the tree line, Blake, he's got him. He's into the tree, starting a TP, the Hawk away, keeping it going all the way home. It's found hawking TA6 style. You're still brought back with the relocate, so Innocence will have to give up his life here.
He lost a whopping 4 gold from that, already purchasing his earn right before, and I don't know how Wings managed to make it out of that one, but that was a very fast global silence from Shadow right as Moo went in. As we can see, like, DC can't do anything during the global silence, not as of yet. Faces Void going for an early Vlads, it seems. Diffusal Blade is normally the build, maybe a little bit later on for the Faces Void if you want to counter the global silence. Timbersaw still has a long way to go until his Bloodstone, then maybe a Yules or a Lotus to deal with it.
We see now how DC love to push. Second global silence goes down. They know they've got the advantage. They've got Chronosphere up as well, so they attack into the tier 1 tower. They can keep going unless Wings want to try and fight them. Cut there. Maybe at the tier 2. DC, are they going to keep going?
They need to take it easy during the Chronosphere, and Pudge has to be really quick with his hook during the Chronosphere because the Skyrat ult does insane amounts of damage, especially with how high level Wii is. He doesn't have level 2 ulti quite yet, but the response time has to come within half a second.
Nice deep ward down by Zuxa. Looking deeper in, Shadow. Well, easy TP out of the top lane too. Moo can't cancel that, no stuns. No Yule Scepters for this Timbersaw.
They use a dire scan near the top room, so they know everyone's down here.
Well, that's one way to... No, he even missed a denial. It's one way to deny a catapult.
But look at where they're setting up. Global Silence coming off cooldown in just 10 seconds time. We in very, very deep.
Fate doesn't have vision of him. Now he will. Blink, Frost, Storm Spirit jumps forward. Skyrad's made. No real defensive abilities. Resolution. He time for Pidler. He was about to go for the Chronosphere and then pulled out.
I have to applaud Wings again for taking all these fights outside of DC's vision. They do have a ward in this mid lane.
Coming over. That Observer was Z's face. Ice still on the back line. Ready to be that saving grace. Blink, Rush, Misery now hooked down. Does he have enough damage? Resolution, no mana for a Chrono. And the Global Silence. They can't respond now, DC. The literally mute button's been pressed. Wings, they will be forced out. There's moves on the front lines to go back up to the hillside of the Radiant jungle. But they're still surrounding that mid tier 1 town, but not for long.
Such a tricky place for DC. They want to fight because they're right outside their T1 and they have vision, but their Skywrath has been down, and as soon as we respawn, Wings are out of there.
Notice too where Wee's TPing, he goes straight down to bot lane. He'll walk up and find the Storm Spirit with that Rod of Atos. The hook out again. The Rod of Atos slow. It cannot hold people inside that Mystic Flare, and it's still a level 1. It wasn't enough damage to get through Blink anyway.
They really want to take a fight with the Chronosphere up here. No Global Silence on Wings, and they know they have to get out of here right now.
And no global, no relocate, so you don't even have that saving grace when one of your cores gets caught in the Chrono.
But the battle of the cooldown of the ultimates are going to Wings at the moment. Global Silence, 130 seconds. Chronosphere, same, 130, but they haven't been able to use it. And if this keeps going like this, Wings are just going to continue to get a lot of farm in the Storm Spirit, who had a terrible early game. He was maybe 1,500 below the Skywrath, but now they're caught up. DC with an aggressive maneuver, smoking down near Roche.
You wonder if it's one of those lanes again. Like, Jakira's really great up against Medusa, but what happens after you hit the 15-minute mark? Like, how does this Skywrath mage keep doing work?
They want kills. Like, ideally, it's just with the Ogre, so you don't have to blow the Chronosphere, but Shadow, he, I believe, was scouted out as he headed into there, but if the smoke pops, they're going to think it's because of the tower, so they can't head over there. Radiant has used Scan, thinking that Shadow's in the trees. It will light up green, and we will have to find another person to kill.
Now, they missed their target. They can go down a bottom lane, but there's 3 dire Observer wards all through the Radiant jungle. So vision superiority, at least in the jungle itself, will go to Wings, but around the tower fight, it will be the favor of DC.
DC have also missed their D wards on the bottom lane, and Wings still have 3 up there. Smoke again, right as Global Silence is about to come off cooldown.
They want to defend bottom. The recall already came in. Weehaw was brought in. Blink in the neighborhood. There's your first crush. Did that help with the blinding light? Yeah, there is. Double TPs, but Global Silence again causing problems. Misery will arrive at Faith. He's in way too deep. The double cross, but Steel Mystic Flare will find the kill. Ice, he's trapped. The creep is looking in the tree line. He can't escape. The Illuminate will help get the kill. But it goes to Weehaw. As Wings force the issue a little too hard under the tier 1.
They expected a relocate coming right there. Faith went in. You got a very important hero in a Skywrath mage, but Storm seemed a little bit too far behind, even with level 2 Electric Vortex. It would have been a kill, and don't know where the Wisp and his partner was, but they don't even have to blow Chronosphere for that. Early Bloods, they can threaten the road, but they don't really have good heroes to take it out at all. That's a very overwhelming concern for DC.
At least when that Diffusal Blade is up, it's going to be less concerns for DC. But for now, Wings, Bloodstones are up for both sides. Blink gets his fresh one, now with 12 Bloodstone charges, and the same for Move. So these guys are very happy with their mana regen pulls.
The itemization from Wings looks like a 4 stabs coming out from Slardar, counter the Skywrath ulti, and then some magic resistance coming out from Ice with a casual cloak. Shadow, early damage item in the drums, and working towards that Atos. Atos is, yeah, pretty decent if they want to focus people down that are having trouble locking people down because the Pudge does not have a Blink Dagger. And Slaughter has to start off the fight.
You can say, yeah, back on. Ice. Well, here they go. He walks straight up the hillside, Manolin, and he goes through the Dismember. No lucky rot death there. So DC get a free kill.
3 unanswered kills by them, but Misery looks to be a little bit vulnerable in the mid lane. Instantly reinforced by Wee.
Well, that's a nice rune for Shadow to have if he can force a fight. While it's still up, that Arcane rune. Lowering the cooldown, or maybe no, they're actually going to give it over to Blink.
They have that observer ward. DC know exactly what's going on.
Well, that's why they've already moved to the Dire side of the river.
They need to set up wards over here.
Dire's top
And
tower
this T2
is
tower's
under
gonna go
attack.
down unless Wings come over there, but no one's in sight.
Well, they still have a relocate, but Io is probably the closest of any of these heroes. Like, he can drag Shadow up, and that's all. Chronosphere now on Fate. TPs begin. Global Silence once again making it difficult for DC to get the instant kill. But now the Symmetry's falling. Fate just explodes. They're gonna have more resistance. Weeha can get that ulti down the card. But it's all being chained up. Wings together holding hands, but they make time together. Just as they fought, Lewis low won't leave the tower. Chains away. Wings, they buy back on Fate. They need a good crush out from him. Blink is off cooldown. He'll find Sasuke over in the tree line, so he'll take a fall too. I will grab that with a denial tower. So a costly fight for Wings.
If they lose a tower, they have to buy it back on the Sloradar, and it's going to be really slow on his progression for that force staff.
Fate, Blink, Crush, mid lane. It's Resolution though. Time off the cooldown in a second. So he'll time dilate and then run away. It's like Fate's trying to force an issue, or at least make it so DC doesn't feel comfortable to move across the map.
They had a lot of trouble pressing down the weak, and it's going to be even more troublesome as he picks up his Yule Scepter. He managed to get his Mystic Slayer off very early on into the fight. And he doesn't have any armor. He should be taken down a little bit more easily, but they don't really have too much physical damage to complement the Amplify.
What is any kind of armor item that Skyrath may want to pick up?
We see Veil pretty commonly on Skyrath, probably the best of the worlds, but Yule's is likely much, much better to help him out against the Storm Spirit in an instant cast so he can get out of a punch hook potentially.
Oh, the smoke. Wings have Knobs ward up. ISI's will break it. Do they want to go on him? Roshan's not dead yet. They put the Tempest on the front lines. Digital Chaos trying to find that quick opening. Shadows nearby. There is no Global Silence in trouble. Blink is down. He'll commit suicide with a Bloodstone. He'll be back in 10 seconds, but 10 seconds may be too long. Shadow will go down into the tendon. Relocate will fail. He didn't get him out in time.
They can hook out the Wisp, though. They can hook out the Wisp. That's the only play that I think they have to perhaps save him.
Eyesight standing too far away. Now he's going to come down close enough to it. Innocence, the stun's there. Eyesight holds the hook. Instead, they may try and contest Roshan. Storm Spirit, very easy to jump in, but the Observer Wards up for both Gaia and Radiant on the cliff sides of Roshan. Here comes your first hook. They drag her up. They've got the Grand to the 3-man Resolution! He hits a money low right here! Chain forward! Wings, where's your extra damage? Resolution will keep chasing down after him. The Yule Scepter up, keeping Fate out of it. And Moon still wants eyesight. They're going to go on Fate first. He'll drop down, and they get the ball. Wings, they had 5 feet. Time to fight through 10 of the grave.
Radiant's top tower
What a godly Chrono Spear from Resolution. Wings thought they had that advantage with a high ground Observer Ward, but DC, they sneak an Observer Ward from inside the pit. Wings think they're safe over there. They think they're under the cover of fog, but I also really like the positioning of the melee heroes from DC. Resolution was standing to the north side of the witch in case Bud threw the hook. He could just turn around with the Chrono Spear and move positioning over there too, getting hooked instead so that Faceless Void can do what he does best.
Well, they give the Immortal over to Weeha. As they can look to the tier 2 tower. A lot going their way. Global Silence is back up for Wings, so they do have that strength in the team fight. 50 seconds for Resolution before Chrono is up. And remember, still DC want to fight around the timings of these big ultimates. And Wings, they want to make sure if that Chrono is down, they have Global Silence up. They're looking for kills too. Something which we haven't seen from Ice. This PUD just being more like a get out of jail free card. If you can stay in the right position.
They've been 5-manning a lot. They haven't really been in a vulnerable position for Wings to gank them with the reload.
Ice, he's found Moo. Reload caps on the way. They got extra help, but Moo's gonna pop. Could not deny himself. He's actually in the neighborhood. Might try and find a revenge kill. It was a relocate in, so he knows there's only going to be one hero left. And it looks like Ice, the man without a single point up in Flash Heap, will tie to the magical damage of Wii. Inside the Dire jungle, while on bottom lane, Global Silence helps kill a Void. So tit for tat between DC and Wings.
DC have to be careful not to give out too many kills. They actually gave the Aegis of the Immortal to the Skyrath instead. Maybe thinking that Faceless Void not terribly useful after his Chrono Spear is done, Wii being the biggest damage dealer on their side.
They might still be really concerned that Wii could just pop way too easily. Don't have him there, so hey, Give him a second life.
I think you're more worried about the Faceless Void dying first in the fight. Timbersaw has enough Bloodstone charges to be almost instantly recalled into the fight. Faceless Void, if you don't have Chronosphere, you're actually pretty likely to lose the fight.
No to his item build on the Faceless Void. He went for Manta style as opposed to finishing up with a Fusel Blade.
That's fine. Both of them get out of Global Silence one or the other. It's also really good to counter the Pudge Hook. As soon as you get Pudge Hook, you Manta style, and the cast time on the Time Walk is not instantaneous. So it's an easy way to get out without having to rely on your team to back you up.
Moogle's covering some damage of his own, going for that Yule Scepter we're talking about.
And Storm also picks up the Yule Scepter, more likely than not to counter the Sky Wrath, Silence, and Ultimate.
Give him some way to jump in and out. Some time to regenerate, some time to think about the fight. For now, DC, they're the ones holding advantage. They're coming in towards the mid lane. Towards the tier 2 tower. Chrono is up. Basically, everything apart from Global Silence is up. That's 42 seconds still on cooldown for Wings. Basically, it has some momentum on the bottom lane. Might make DC think twice about going to the tier 3s.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And that's exactly what happens. They're going to back out.
Radiant's
Few items from
bottom
DC.
tower
We
is
going
under
for a
attack.
very early game style build. Atos, Yules, and now a Blink Dagger on the Sky Wrath.
You can get on the back line and kill that Storm Spirit, or sorry, kill the Silencer. He doesn't have a way out of the Silence right now. He is the easiest target to kill. If he gets the Ancient Seal on him before he can pop his Global, I think Wings lose that fight tragically.
So you need Silencer to have some kind of way out.
Or just good positioning too. We initially thought it was going to be a support Silencer, but core Silencer are very vulnerable without BKB. Sometimes we see Shadow Blade come out from him, but might be a Force Staff at the moment.
Everyone's getting Yule Scepters. Faith just finished is his.
DC.
Are they going to find anything with this, with a 4-man maneuver? And they're smoking at the same time as Global Silence is off cooldown.
And looks like they are going to show the Timbersaw in the mid lane, but they can easily recall him to the fight. Dire's use scan, they know exactly where they are.
So smart from Wings. They see it coming, but how do they react?
They need an Observer Ward.
They actually can't TP out Blink. Blink is walking so far over that he can just jump, and there she goes into the tree line. Number 1, but the seal is up. Yule Scepter will dispel it. Global Silence for resolution. Drops the Chronosphere. They wait for him to hit the ground and then burn him in the light.
They knew that smoke was coming, but he didn't jump that far. I'm surprised he actually went to the right side instead of the left where the rest of his team was.
It was just the TP being on cooldown. Maybe he felt like he had to jump all the way to the tier 3 tower, but he had to close the distance to do that.
Perhaps, but if you just go to the left side, you have the Observer Ward there. You can hide, pop the smoke.
Innocent. Oh, Weeha! Blink in, Yule Scepter, the cross! Hits on board! They hook out resolution! Almost back to tier 4 tower! He'll time walk down after 4 Misery trying to save him! The agency one will trigger, so Weeha back up again! And they're gonna burn down the Slaughter! The assault into the base. Ice can't keep the fight going for Wings. Unable to latch that hook, but it's still Shadow finding a double kill, repelling DC.
They wanted to go in that small window where the Storm Spirit was still dead. But haste breeds mistakes.
And it does. The tier 3 town takes minimal damage. With every one of these kills as well, just a little bit more of that intelligence of DC gets stolen by Wings. Up to 16 now on Shadow. Slowly buffing him up.
I'm not sure if Wings can take large-scale engagements at this point. They still need more items up.
They're pinging out the top. I think Ice wants to go for a hook. They have a relocate available from Innocence.
Trying to make use of the last couple of minutes of this Observer Ward, but DC are grouped up far too much. And things are going to get a lot easier once next daytime hits.
Oh, the Observer Ward. They see Blink. He's walking straight into Misery. The stuns, the Mystic Flares. Yule Scepter up. Is there a relocate save? Yeah. No! Innocence! It's like he grabbed onto him, but not strong enough to pull him through the void. And now he's coming back in 3, 2, 1. And goodbye, Innocence. He'll spend his money before death, both mech recipe as well as Buster recipe.
The Storm Spirit has died 7 times this game. We is just crushing him at every turn.
May actually be on 1 Bloodstone charge soon. He's down to 3 Bloodstone charges on this Storm Spirit. Oof. And now he's building an item which you normally get when you have momentum. He's going back into the Orchid after Bloodstone and Yules. Long pause behind the jungle. Ice and Mystic Flare doing some work. He'll survive. The Glimmer Cape keeps him invis, and Base looking for the crush, but he missed it now. Resolution. They already found one. BO5 is caught inside the Chronosphere, trying to kill the Slaughter. Shadow will move over. Can they find the kill? Yule's up from Slaughter. He'll go again up and towards the air. Shadow still wants his kill over on Weeha. Faith will drop in the meantime with the Rod of Atos. The curse, it should be enough with the Yule Scepter. Dispel. Shadow's running out of mana. The blink out. Weeha using that going restless for the time of turn. A double kill for Moo. And Wings tied it to the end of the earth in a stiff breeze.
Another phenomenal play coming out from Wee. Such an unlucky miss uphill as Silencer was going for the finishing blow with the amp damage still on Sky, but he is styling on them.
And they look for more. Blink having the ball running himself away from Moo. DC are starting to roll with the punches. It's going to be even more difficult to try and repel them as these early game items with this really strong mid-game drop hitting a mark from DC. We've got Diffusal plus Manta up. They got everything to deal with Global Silence. Even almost a Lotus Orb up for the Timber.
Yeah, their items are coming out way too quickly. They really need maybe an Aegis on the Storm Spirit to get back in this game, but DC is showing no signs of halting. Skywrath almost has as many kills as Wings' entire team.
That is definitely an issue. If you had Wing in your fantasy team, you're going to be smiling all the way through.
He's still suffering a little bit in terms of net worth over the Storm Spirit, but Storm Spirit could have been a way bigger threat had we not been playing this well.
But there's something too which Wings was probably expecting. Like we've seen it, like the panel was guessing. Black said maybe it wasn't the greatest time to pick up an Ogre, but DC have done it time and time again. They get that early balance their way when that Ogre rotates into mid, plus having an early game help, like the Skywrath Mage Orbs.
Yeah, might be time to bring back the 2-1-2 mid lanes.
Baby, top lane, quick jump, Yule Scepter up, that's the Slaughter. He got 6 okay, it's hard to stop me anything. He didn't even have a chance to trigger it off as Moo finds the kill.
No chance.
Yeah, no chance, definitely chance though. It's not a boo you're hearing if you're listening back at home. That is all for the Moo. As now the Hawk, nice ice, unable to hit that reactive armor.
Misery still needs to be recalled if they want to make this a 5-man push.
Where's your fight?
Oh, he has Scepter. This is going to be insanely difficult for Wings to hold.
Especially during the daytime. Extra heal, Blink and it doesn't stop in. The time lock holds him in. The Global Silence. They'll actually pull Blink away with the Hawk, but now DC, no Global Silence to fight up against. They know they've got the advantage, they've got Chrono, they've got everything their heart desires. All they want is the racks. DC, everyone was pinging Wings to try and win this grand final. The favor is to do it for DC. They will be the first to claim the full set of racks on top. Fortification from Wings is slowing this fight down. ISI still looking for a good angle. Blink jumps in. They don't have the opening just yet to smoke the Hawk. It actually drags the Slaughter out of his clutch. They still know they got all the multicast. Blink falls up down outside the Chrono. Someone's the corner, having an instant. He can't pull it out in time. They'll have to hold in. They have to back up under the Tier 4 tower. DC, they're rampaging on. Remember, objective-based gaming for GG. Wings for corner. DC take game number 1 of the TI6 Grand Final against Wings. The boys went all the way through the winner's bracket.
Jeez. We is insane on that Skywrath Mage. And again, the early game of Ogre from Misery. You can still feel the effects of his first 5 minutes.
It's the confidence of DC to go for a left field pick like that. You're actually wondering, could anyone